Now on Coast TV News.
Warmth from winter's chill, how Delaware's Department of Health and Social Services is helping those in need of shelter.
And millions to transform rural healthcare, how much money Delaware now has towards expanding healthcare.
And as we take a look at what's happened with your forecast for New Year's Day, it's still going to stay a bit on the chilly side.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
Daytime relief from the cold. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our news at 5.
2025 is ending on a cold note, and the temperatures can be dangerous to anyone who is exposed for too long. Coast TV News reporter Elisa Weber shows us how the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services is helping people find shelter.
Helping those in need find a warm place to spend the day. That's the goal of warming centers like the one being held here at the Thurman Adams State Service Center in Georgetown. Run by the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services, the agency says there are stations like this all across the first state, open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. In addition to the warming centers, Code Purple, Sussex County, and at the Cape are working to provide nighttime shelter for those in need. But these shelters rely on volunteers to operate.
All the way through like New Year's or the day after New Year's, that usually is the hardest week to fill. So if anyone's available during that time and they'd like to give up their time and get to know some of our neighbors who have a story just like ours, it's a great opportunity.
Code Purple shelters will operate through March 15th and open regardless of the temperature. For Coast TV News, I'm Elisa Weber.
This brings us right into our Coast TV poll. We want to know who should run warming centers.
Let's take a look at the results so far. 19% say churches, 67% say state agencies, nobody voting for nonprofits yet, and 14% say community groups.
We do have a comment from Bruce in Selbyville. He says, any organization other than the state.
If you haven't voted yet, you can still do that at coasttv.com or our mobile app.
And we're taking a live look into Milford. Let's check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams.
Well, as we take a look at what's happening with our forecast, we're overall continuing to stay pretty clear. I'm trying to do something to my computer. There we go. Now it's acting a little bit better for me. So we take a look at what's happening with our forecast. We're continuing to see scattered cloud cover in place for us right now and 33 degrees. And we're looking at the winds primarily staying light for right now. We're going to drop back down to 33 degrees actually by 9 o'clock with increasing cloud cover in place. And we're going to stay cloudy and a bit on the chilly side if nothing else. Take a look at where we are right now. Just a little bit close to where we were just yesterday, a little 2 degrees below in some places, 2 degrees above in others. So we're kind of averaging it out at this point to saying, we'll just call it even Steven, so to speak, at this point. We're at 33 degrees in Long Neck as well as Millsboro. It's 34 degrees currently in Georgetown. It's 33 in Laurel, Del Mar, as well as Gumboro, 35 in Willits, 33 in Ocean Pines. Here's the latest look at what's happening with our scattered cloud cover that's pushing across the region. We're going to possibly pick up a little renegade flurry briefly for Thursday, but it's not going to be a long-standing flurry or nothing. I'll call it we pretty much call it a cameo appearance kind of a flurry. Now, keeping in mind that small craft advisory staying active until throughout a good portion of our region with the 25-mile-per-hour winds likely for us to stay pretty stacked up. But here's the look what we're talking about. By 3:30 in the morning, we're looking for the snow to come out of western portions of Pennsylvania. Then it pushes across pretty quickly. We may still have a little bit left over us by the time we get to mid-morning for Thursday. But then after that, it quickly vacates the premises. So we are going to see a couple of flurries briefly for a second or two. Then it's out of here. So we're not looking at widespread heavy snow cover or anything of that sort. And then we're going to get really cold going into the weekend. However, there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel because we're expecting for it to begin to actually warm up a little bit as we go into next week. But where the rest of the night is concerned, going into tomorrow, we're looking for a starting point at midnight at about 35 degrees, 38 for us by 4 o'clock, 38 by 6 o'clock, and then by mid-morning, we're back to 35 degrees with the winds beginning to swirl. We'll have more on your full forecast coming up in a moment. Till then, back to you.
Thank you, Paul. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services awarded all 50 states money under the Rural Health Transformation Program. Delaware receiving $157 million to put towards projects like the first ever medical school in the state, potentially in Sussex County. Coast TV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Dagsboro. Brandon, Governor Matt Meyer targeting areas just like Dagsboro.
Charlie, the $157 million is just one of 5 annual grant payouts, according to the governor's office, totaling at $785 million, with the goal of completely transforming rural health care here in Sussex County and in Kent County. In total, there are 15 projects. Some of those projects include new rural hope centers, delivering housing, health, and job support all under one roof. Mobile community health hubs taking health care directly to schools, churches, and town centers. Some here in Sussex County are split on if we have enough health care already.
Definitely need a lot more, so medical school would be wonderful.
I mean, every time we turn around, there's another medical facility going up.
A spokesperson for the governor's office tells Coast TV over the next few weeks more details will be released on exactly how these funds will go towards those projects, also calling this a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Live in Dagsboro, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
DelDOT says Rifle Range Road between Route 13 and Tatman Farm Road will be closed Monday until Friday, January 23rd. That's due to the inspection and maintenance of a gas line. 2 Georgetown men have been arrested after a fight involving guns at the Georgetown apartment complex. This is all according to Georgetown police. Police say around 5:45 on December 30th, 3 men were fighting when 2 guns were pulled out. And according to the victim, the suspects are his cousins. The victim says a second fight ensued and both of those cousins were arrested at the scene. We have more on this story right now on CoastTV.com.
The Starboard in Dewey Beach says it's going to host a fundraiser for Delaware State Police Corporal Matthew Ty Snook. It was last week that Snook was shot and killed while working overtime at a Wilmington DMV. According to organizers, the fundraiser is set for January 8th. Off-duty Delaware State Police guest bartenders, they're going to be featured. The restaurant says all proceeds, including sales and tips, will go directly to the Snook family.
The Delaware General Assembly is making some tweaks to a law that created a Diamond State Hospital Cost Review Board. That was a big issue with hospitals because under the law that was passed in 2024, that board had authority in some cases to approve or change hospital budgets. Well, that prompted a lawsuit by Christiana Care. On Tuesday, a new bill introduced would remove the board's authority to change budgets. There are still a number of requirements for hospitals. The bill is being reviewed in the Senate's Executive Committee. The new year is just hours away.
And if you want to ring in the new year with some exercise, listen up, there will be hikes across Delaware tomorrow.
The first day hike at Cape Henlopen State Park is at 9 a.m. at the Seaside Nature Center. Also at 9 a.m. there's a self-guided tour at the Fort Miles Museum and Historical Area. You just check in at the orientation building.
And if you're not an early riser, not always, at 2 p.m. there is a hike at the Indian River Inlet Bridge.
For some 22 million Americans, 2026 will bring higher health care costs or the loss of health insurance entirely.
As NBC's Gary Grumbach reports, at midnight, government subsidies are expiring for the Affordable Care Act. That means some people are going to see their health insurance costs shoot up overnight by as much as 114%.
Joseph Diemro is one of millions of Americans who will see his health insurance premiums go up at midnight. He buys his coverage through the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Next month, he'll pay 15% more as federal subsidies to keep the cost lower run out.
It's a lot bigger than my car payment. It's between my car payment and rent. And it's getting closer and closer to the rent.
Healthcare advocates worry many Obamacare recipients will just get rid of their health insurance entirely instead of paying more.
There's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to make that really tough choice between their coverage and their other basic life necessities.
Rather than extending subsidies, Utah Republican Congressman Mike Kennedy, a doctor, says Obamacare needs a complete overhaul.
I want to make sure that those people have excellent access to high-quality health care, which I and people like me as doctors have been delivering for many years in the Obamacare process. So there's a way to make this happen.
But moderate Republicans and Democrats argue Congress needs to extend the health care credits while working on long-term reforms.
This is what the people want.
Yep. The number one issue in America is affordability, and affordability of health insurance is right there at the very top.
And I'm going to set up a meeting with them.
President Trump, who has railed against Obamacare for years, says he'll start the new year negotiating to get private health insurance companies to lower their premiums.
Maybe they'll surprise us, but maybe we'll ask them for a 50% cut, and maybe they'll give it. You know, you never know.
So what happens next? Congress went home without any action on this earlier this month, and they're not in session today, so premiums will go up at midnight. The House is scheduled to vote next week on a 3-year extension of those Obamacare subsidies, but even if that passes, it likely won't pass the Senate, meaning higher healthcare costs could be the reality for millions of Americans for the foreseeable future. Gary Grumbach, NBC News, Washington.
Still ahead on Coast TV News at 5, the change coming to Rehoboth Beach's government meetings that starts in 2026.
We're about to stay a bit on the cloudy side as well as a bit on the chilly side, and the chilly side more so than the cloudy stuff.
But first, need some last-minute New Year's Eve plans? We have your cool things to do up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
The pop of fireworks are not the only things lighting up New Year's Eve.
Christina DiRobertis has your cool things to do to ring in 2026.
Let me tell you, Delmarva has some of the most unique New Year's traditions. Starting in Lewis, the Overfalls Foundation is hosting its annual Anchor Drop.
A family-friendly version at 7, and then later,
a lighted anchor will descend from the ship's mast as the crowd counts down to midnight. Over in Dewey Beach, the Crush Drop honors Delaware's official state drink. You can watch the iconic Orange Crush lower at Oceanside, New Orleans Street. Chincoteague has the Pony Island Horseshoe Drop, featuring a promenade of wild costumes before the horseshoe lights up the final seconds of 2025. Princess Anne is known for the Muskrat Dive, where Marshall Muskrat glides down a zip line in his signature top hat. In Easton, the celebrations include a crab drop, a classic Eastern Shore tradition, or for a more simple celebration, you can head to Ocean City for some fireworks. And for all the details, just head to coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Coming up next, Paul Williams in our Coast TV First Alert Weather Center with your full forecast after this.
Well, as the sun is setting on the last of 2025, keep in mind, hey, we're a little bit below the norm for this time of the year, and we're going to really get chilly going into the weekend. But that's okay, because in a week or so, we're going to really start warming up nicely. But we got to get there first. Okay, in Ocean City, coming in at 35 degrees at this present time. We'll just stay in the mid-30s for the most part, with a bit of clearing that's going to happen over Ocean City by 9 o'clock and 34 degrees. Now, our storyline is this. Tonight, pleasant, breezy, late flurry possible. And then for New Year's Day, blustery. We could get a brief flurry there for the morning time, but nothing that's going to stick around for a long period of time. But it's going to be a nice start to the new year, at least a nice looking one. We're at 34 degrees right now in Georgetown, as well as Milford and in Redden, but it's also 34 degrees in Bridgeville. Now, we're about 2 degrees below in some places, 2 to 4 degrees above where we were just 24 hours ago. So we're going to even that out and say we're just going to call it even all across the board, just for everywhere and across the region as a whole. But generally speaking, we're continuing to stay temperatures into the 30s. Now, our New Year's planner, you know, we're expecting for it to stay for late tonight. We're looking for temperatures in the 30s, and we're going to stay very much on the warm side of things, generally speaking, instead of dealing with the wind chills being just unbelievably uncomfortable. In fact, I want to take a look at how the winds are going to be shaping up for us, to be quite honest. And it's an interesting story, because when you take a look at what's happening with the winds, first of all, we see the winds coming out of the southwest initially for us for Thursday morning, and then they'll start pouring out of the west and then start swirling a bit for us going into Friday. When you begin to compare the temperatures versus the wind chills, starting as early as tomorrow, listen, we'll have 26 degrees to start the day off, or the year off, but it's going to feel like 18 degrees. So yeah, we're going to ride right on that purple side of things, which is going to be well below those 30s. So it's going to be a little deceiving when we say 39. I want you to think 20. Okay, so 39 across the board, Lewis, Rehoboth Beach, as well as Dewey Beach, but feeling more like 20 because the winds are out of the northwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour. 37 for the high in Georgetown, 36 for the high in Cambridge with partly cloudy skies, chilly and breezy in Snow Hill, and 39 there, as well as Berlin. when you go into, let's say, Thursday, this is that touch of snow that I'm talking about, a flurry or two. 6:30, we'll have some snow in Ellendale, Milton, Georgetown, 6:30. And then by early as 10 o'clock, it's all gone and it's moving very rapidly. So that's why I'm not overly emphasizing the idea of flurries paying us a visit. Friday starts off a bit on the cloudy side and Friday stays on the cold side, generally speaking anyway. Now, what it's going to feel like, this is the big story, okay? If you haven't paid attention to anything else I've said, pay attention to this, okay? Here we go. All right, 17 is what it's going to feel like Thursday night, 17 degrees, 16 in Milton and Ellendale. Friday morning, we'll start off at 20, 21, and then we'll go down to 17 for Saturday morning to 18 and 19, and then we're down into the teens for Sunday morning. And so that's how it's going to shape up. So even with the temperatures in the 40s and 30s, we're going to stay with scattered cloud cover Thursday and Friday and mostly cloudy on Saturday. And then as you take a look at what's happening with our 7-day forecast, yeah, we're staying cold over to the weekend, but then we start warming up by Tuesday.
Thank you, Paul. The Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration is working on the US 50 bridge Monday, January 5th. You see it right here. Officials say drivers can expect daytime single-lane closures January 5th through the 20th. A full bridge closure and detour is January 20th, just through February 3rd, though. Whole project done March 20th.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, relive some of the action from this year's Governor's Challenge at 8 p.m. J.H. Blake takes on Coatesville, and at 10 p.m. Roman Catholic battles Wasatch Academy.
We salute Chief Ralph W. Holm Jr. Chief Holm leads the Georgetown Police Department with a deep commitment to community partnership and service. Under his leadership, the department is dedicated to serving the diverse Georgetown community with fairness and empathy. He focuses on training officers not only in law enforcement techniques, but also in engaging positively with residents, especially the youth. His philosophy, in service to our community, reflects a guiding principle of inclusivity and protection for all who live in or visit Georgetown. Chief Holm's leadership continues to strengthen the bond between the police and the community, ensuring safety and mutual respect.
Spicer Brothers and CoastTV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a CoastTV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Beginning Monday, Ocean City will upgrade water meters. All residential and commercial water meters are getting converted to automatic. The town says electronic reading should improve accuracy. Completion should be done April 2026.
Rehoboth Beach's government updating the meeting format starting in 2026. Officials say regular meetings will continue on the third Friday of each month. Workshop meetings, normally held on Mondays, those will be renamed commissioners' meetings and may include votes if listed on the agenda. That's new. The first meeting under this new format is Monday, January 5th. We don't have that many days left to dance here, but I do love our holiday house, and we do love to see what you guys have in store for us.
Let's show you some decorations. This was sent in by David and Donna Kibler in Long Neck. What a display there.
Going all out here.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Thank you, David and Donna, for sending us your amazing holiday house decorations.
And tomorrow is the last day we're going to show off these holiday decorations. You got time to send us a photo. Do that by going to coasttv.com/holidayhouse. It just might make it in under the wire. We'll be right back.
Beautiful skyline for us right now over Ocean City, courtesy of our Drytech camera. 35 degrees for us right now. And we're going to stay in the mid-30s for the rest of the evening with thick cloud cover in place as well. That being said, we do have some small craft advisories that have been activated for us for Slaughter Beach, Broad Hill Beach, as well as Lewis. Now, we're concerned about 25-mile-per-hour winds at Rehoboth, Dewey Beach, as well as Ocean View. And this reaches all the way down from Ocean City, West Ocean City, all the way down towards Chincoteague, and even on the other side of the peninsula. So still staying a bit on the breezy side, even though it's not quite to the force that we've been dealing with previously. I want to wish everybody a happy and safe New Year's Eve. And then for New Year's Day, we're going to expect a high of about 39 degrees, staying pretty close to where we are for right now. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Paul Lauterbach of Lewis. Congratulations, courtesy of Paul Davis. A lot of Pauls here. Paul. Anyway, it's a 3-Paul deal. All right, a hat trick. Anyway, we're looking at Call Paul for your forecast with our weather line, because I just updated it. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstead, Mendalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast.
Thank you, Paul, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
Triple Pauls.
Love
Don't know.
I love
For
it.
more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.